Hey there, it's your girl, KD Rabinowitz, the Shiksa Redeemed, coming at you with another episode. And wow, what a heavy topic today. It's starting to feel like the whole world hates Jews, am I right? With everything going on, whether it's the conflict with Hamas, Hezbollah, or Iran, it feels like history is repeating itself in the worst possible way. But before I dive in, let me just remind y'all that this isn't new. What we're seeing today has deep roots in centuries of anti-Semitism. So today I want to talk about a concept that's been around for centuries, and trust me, it's chilling blood libel. This ancient myth is still alive in subtle and not so subtle ways, as the Guardian article by Howard Jacobson pointed out. For those of you who might not be familiar, blood libel is this insane idea that Jews kill Christian children and use their blood for religious rituals. Like, how absurd is that, especially considering Jewish law strictly forbids consuming blood? But this myth wasn't just some fringe belief, it was mainstream, and it got a lot of innocent Jews killed over the centuries. Jacobson mentions the Church of England's plaque at Lincoln Cathedral, apologizing for falsely accusing Jews of murdering a boy named Hugh in 1255. Imagine that, 700 years to acknowledge they got it wrong. 7 centuries of blood libel that stoked hatred against Jews. And here's the thing, even after all that time, those lies persist today. Look, we're living in a time where the images and narratives are so carefully chosen by the media, and Jacobson's article nailed it. I mean, think about how Gaza gets covered versus Ukraine. The tragedies in Gaza are real, don't get me wrong, but how often are we seeing stories of dead Palestinian children and feeling like, once again, Jews are being cast as the villains? Night after night, it's like there's this subtle reminder, Jews, Israel, bad guys. Sound familiar? It should, because it's the same old blood libel narrative, just modernized. And the thing is, this isn't just some random misunderstanding, it's a deliberate framing. The media gives us these one-sided snapshots, like little emotional bombs. You watch it and you can't help but feel like, wow, Jews are at it again. It's horrifying, and it taps into this ancient, poisonous well of hatred. It's not just about the news, though. This atmosphere of hostility and fear we Jews live in, it's dangerous. Here we are, a year after Hamas's brutal attack on Israel on October 7th, 2023, and the denials, the celebrations of that massacre, they echo those medieval accusations, insatiable bloodlust, demonization, and villainy. It's like the world can't see past this old script. Take Iran, Hezbollah, and Hamas. They openly call for the destruction of Israel and for the death of Jews, and yet so many people, especially in the media, downplay it. It's easier to paint Israel as the aggressor than to acknowledge the real threats we're up against. That's a modern-day blood libel, if you ask me. What's even more shocking is how this mindset is spreading. I mean, just look at the rise in hate crimes around the world. In Toronto, there's been a 69% increase in hate crimes against Jews since Hamas's October 7th attack. And in the US, we've got incidents like the drive-by shooting in LA, where a man specifically targeted Jews because of their yarmulkes. These aren't isolated incidents. They're part of a growing wave of anti-Semitism that's spreading like wildfire, fueled by the same old lies. And then there's this story from the Netherlands, where police officers are refusing to guard Jewish buildings. Like what? I get having personal beliefs, but refusing to protect Jewish people and institutions? It's insane, and it's terrifying. We're literally seeing the normalization of people opting out of protecting us, and that's only going to make things worse. I know this is a lot to take in, but I think it's so important to recognize that what we're seeing today, the hate, the violence, the demonization of Jews, it isn't new. It's just a modern iteration of what we've been dealing with for centuries. We can't let ourselves be blind to this. We need to call it out for what it is. Whether it's blood libel in the Middle Ages or biased news coverage today, it's all part of the same toxic hatred. And as Jews, we need to stand together and remind the world that Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel live. We've survived centuries of this garbage, and we're not going anywhere. Thanks for listening, and let me know what you think. How are you seeing anti-Semitism play out in your own communities? Leave a comment or drop me a message. Stay strong, and as always, I'll catch you in the next episode.